Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome once again. This is Mr. Bird from Conductive Music, and this is a Steam Corner, our streaming corner for all of the things art and technology. Every week we meet on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock and we discuss a new topic, a new app, a new way of being creative for free online. Now, just in case you are wondering what's happening at Conductive Music these days, we are creating our online learning platform which will bear the same name, Steam Corner. We're building the website, the content management, so every single facet of it is all homemade, so it's taking us all of our time. But we've got tons of videos that will be available to you, and we're hoping to be able to launch it on the 2nd or 3rd week of January. Fingers crossed if everything goes well. And oh, hello, Merry Christmas to you as well, Pizza Crust Gamer. Nice to see you live as always. And for all of the rest of you, if you haven't done that before already, sorry, please drop us a like on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next upload. Sorry for this kind of home video for today. We just flew back to the UK, so we're back in London. Greetings to all the Londoners that are following us, and we're resetting the studio, so in just a couple of weeks we'll be able to be all flashy and nice and green screeny as always. So today I wanted to introduce to you the Microsoft Arcade platform. This is one of our favorite pieces of software, which is free, is browser based, and can be used online, offline, on laptops and on tablets. We also on phones, by the way, but a bit small, so it's a bit of a challenge. So we have been using these for a number of months now to create not just video games but musical video games. So these are games that we design with the students for musical purposes. So whether you are hitting a moving note, collecting it, stepping on it, blowing it up, I don't know, every single interaction you can think of, that will have a musical result. So today I just wanted to show you the ABCs, the very beginning of how to get to grips to it. In terms of, if you're a teacher, in terms of student age groups, we suggest using this platform from year 5 and up. And the beauty of all of these platforms that we introduced to you are two, I think. There's two key parts. One is the transferability. So when you learn something about coding or about music on this specific platform, and then you move to a different one, for example, Scratch or the Microbit or Minecraft coding, all of the concepts are transferable, so you don't have to learn everything once again. The colors might change, some of the names and some of the workflows might be slightly different, but the key concepts stay the same, so that's a beautiful part. Secondly, all of these platforms have got a 5-minute approach and a 5-month approach. So what does it mean? That you can get to a quick result very, very quickly, even if you're a complete beginner, or you can keep working on it and building it up and up and up. For those of you who are on the higher end of the spectrum, let's say maybe you're year 7 or year 8 and you already have a little bit of knowledge in this, probably this is a little bit on the too beginner side, so we would suggest probably shifting to Unity or Unreal. Both engines are absolutely free. The downside is that they need a chunkier computer. So we'll talk about these in the future lessons, and as always, please drop us a comment, and if you'd like to see some specific, oh hello Joyce, nice to see you. If you'd like to see any other content, please drop us a line, and we'll do our best to create a fabulous video for you. So let's get started. Okay, so this is our platform. Well, it's not ours, sorry. This is the platform of this video. It's quite fabulous because it's got 7 different coding languages, all of which are cross-compatible, as I was telling you earlier, and all of which are free, browser-based, and all you have to do really is go to the website called makecode.com. Nothing else to do. makecode.com. It's very simple. Now, we've got the Microbit, which is this little tiny card that if you're year 7 or 8 and in England, your school will have it. So please do ask your IT, design and technology, or music teacher, because they will have it in the school. The BBC gave it a set to each school in England. The Circuit Playground is the one for the interactive wearables, and the Minecraft, obviously, is for Minecraft. So you can recode the game and make some very cool mods for it. The Mindstorms are the Legos which move, whilst Q is a cute robot. The PCB here is a bit for more advanced sort of things, but this is pretty much a car. You see there's a USB connector here, onto which you can connect other sensors, crocodile clips, and make your own science and music experiments. I've skipped the most important one, which is our focus of today, the Microsoft Arcade. By the way, I've got them here. The Microsoft Arcade can be used completely for free online. However, if you want to go the extra mile, the Meow Bits, there we go, here we go, the Meow Bits are here, and they are available. They're available online on Amazon or eBay or any other electronic shop, and you can always download the games that you make into one of these. If you join one of our courses, there is always a competition at the end, and if you are one of the winners, you do get a Meow Bit. So we hope that you'll enjoy this game making even further. So this is, oh, sorry guys, this is something completely new. I logged in a couple of days ago and this was not here. There's a complete new tutorial series. Wow. All right, we're gonna have to take a look. Well, this is the beautiful thing about having online platforms. New content comes up all the time. And this looks like it's a step-by-step tutorial series that takes you through projectiles, enemies, fuel, planets, platformers. Wow, even enemy AI. Wow, that's beautiful. So this is an add-on to the very, very extensive series of tutorials that were available here. So here you've got a step-by-step. I like those, and to be honest, this is where I learned, because you get to build games, and as you build the games one after the other, you learn the key concepts, and then you can transfer them to other projects of yours. Each of them are different settings and different styles. I particularly like these live streams. They are on YouTube, and there's a live coding platform, because you can not only follow what these people are doing, you can also follow the live streams. These are the Make Code team, but also you can stream yourself. There is a platform which allows you to stream your own projects if you want. And then of course you can connect it to YouTube or Twitch or whichever other platform you like to use. So of course, if you like to learn more about game mechanics, I strongly suggest you go through these. As you can see, there's hundreds. There's a lot. And there's new every day. So as I'm scrolling through, I'm a little bit confused because sometimes I see new stuff and I'm very curious about it. Anyways, today we're gonna do a first musical interaction. So I'm gonna create a new project, and what should I call it? Physicoin. I don't know, I just had these two things on the desk here. So first things first, this is an emulator. This is where all of the games happen. There's a menu here which you can open up, and gives you all of the different blocks. Don't be scared if it's the first time. Obviously they will be a little bit challenging, but you will become more and more familiar with it as time goes by. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit because this is where the code lives, and exactly like Scratch, it works in kind of a puzzle way. So you see there is a slot here, everything needs to be joined to another set. Some things can be joined to others, some others cannot. So obviously everything will become clear as we go through it, but I do suggest practicing and checking on the color codes as well. If for any reason your computer is set to a different language, please make sure that you change it to English by using the language button. So it's just under my webcam. Here you go, the language button is here, and then you can change it back to English, and obviously then when you practice you can switch to the other languages. Everything is saved on the cloud in real time, so you don't need to download it. However, if you are clearing the cache using a different browser, or if you are on a shared computer, perhaps you're working from school, that is not a good idea. I think you should always download the file and take it with you. If you have a thumb drive, for example, a USB drive, you can just hit this button here, download. However, if you don't have anything and you just wanted to send a link to your home or email address, you can just click on share, publish project, and then copy or use the QR code. And this link will be enough for you to retrieve the project anywhere you want. If you want to see some quite cool, I think, and more advanced game examples, please navigate to our website, which is just conductivemusic.uk. And here it comes. If you go to tutorials and select, here you go, musical video game school, you will have a series of 9 games that you can look through, check. For example, this is the Beethoven jumping one. You can check the code, you can edit the code. Let me see, it might take just a second to download. You can edit the code and basically import it into your cloud so you can play around however you like. You can use the simulator, play around with it, and this is the game. It's Beethoven jumping over the pianos, losing lives if he doesn't get through it, and earning points on the top right. I don't know if you recognize the piece, guys, but it's the Moonlight Sonata in the bass going through. Okay, fabulous. So let's start making our first interaction. Now, we've got a video game, which is the same as the Biambit that I showed you earlier. We've got a joystick here to move a character. We've got 2 buttons, and this is our screen. Keep in mind one very important thing. When it comes to a screen, it obviously has a limitation, right? So it's going to have a certain number of pixels horizontally and vertically, but the level itself might be much bigger. So for today, because it's a very quick interaction, I'm just going to set up a very simple non-movable camera, which is only focusing in the middle. And the way to do it is clicking on Scene, getting a tile map up here, and there we go. And then setting it, in this case, to 10 by 8. Why 10 by 8? Because that's the exact size of our screen. Now, you can make your own tiles if you like by clicking on My Tile, adding the plus, and drawing the tile. So this is a horrible sketch, but just to show you, I can now grab the tile and create my level with the tile that I've just designed. Or you can use the pre-made ones, and that obviously depends on how much time you've got. Obviously, guys, this video is quite fast, simply because it's a video, so you can slow it down on YouTube, you can rewind it, you can download, you can do whatever you like. However, if you join one of our courses, everything is going to be explained much slower and in a much more simple way, okay? So let me show you a quick musical interaction here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to set the levels. I've used some very simple commands from here, really. One is a pencil, so I can just draw my lines, yeah? Or I have the line tool here, which allows me to obviously create longer lines. So for example, if I wanted to do a diagonal, there you go. This is how it works. And finally, I can use the bucket to fill with, oh, wrong tile, sorry. There we go. And then refill it. I hope this makes sense. This is quite standard for all the games. Now I'm going to set a character in the middle that can go around, and let's see what we can do. Just a moment. A character, obviously in a video game, is called a sprite. There's quite a few sprites built in, but if you want, you can draw your own. You can rename it here by calling on a rename, and it's gonna be the Christmas, because it's coming up soon, the Christmas Switch, because I've got the Nintendo Switch on the desk. Is it misspelled as well? Very good, very good. Just a second. There we go, the Christmas Switch. Makes no sense, but it's fine. If you click on Gallery, you can access all of the assets that are already there. So for example, I can get this little guy, I can get a duck, a pizza, let's get a taco, okay, let's try that one. And here you go, let's see how big it is. It should appear pretty much in the middle of the screen. There we go, fine. It's quite big, but it'll do the job. Then I want to be able to move it. So to move, I go to the controller and I move it with button, but it's going to soon complain because look, this guy is called Christmas Switch and this guy is called My Sprite. So I need to match them and I cannot change the velocity here. Vx is how fast it moves horizontally, Vy how fast it moves vertically. So now if I go full screen and just use my computer keyboard, I can move this taco all the way through the screen. I can also speed it up a little bit. I'm gonna use 150. This is time number of pixels, so it's gonna get a little bit faster. Now we want to create an interaction with a another sprite. So for example, I'm going to create the node C, rename variable node C. And this one is going to be, oh, sorry about the noise. I think my colleague can take the door. This is here, and it's already positioned in the middle of the screen. If you want to move it around, all you need to do is select its Y and X and Y. So you can set the position X and Y. However, because we set a tile map, we can do something a little bit easier. If you go to scene and place on top of, there you go, you can select which tile you want it to be on. Now there is an important thing to keep in mind. In gaming, the X and the Y don't work exactly like in math. So the 0, 0 are not down here, the 0, 0 coordinates don't live down here, they live up here. So let me explain once again. If you were to think about the maths chart, x0, y0 will be here. Then x will progress horizontally, whilst y will progress vertically. Now there's a key difference in game design because the 0, 0 lives up here. And that's exactly where that square is finished. So, for example, I can move this to 0, 1 by doing here. 0, 2 is going to be here. 0, 3 is going to be here. If I do 1, sorry, my mistake. 1, 0 is going to be here. 2, 0 is going to be here. If I do 1, 1, so 1 on the x and 1 on the y, the square will move down. If I put 1, 2, it's going to go there. 1, 3, it's going to go there. So only thing to keep in mind is that the y coordinates start from the very top and work their way down. So let's do this. I'm going to place a few, okay? Obviously, there are better ways of doing this code, but it's just because it's the first interaction, so I want to keep it simple. Unfortunately, in coding, simple generally means clunky. There are much more elegant ways to do things, but they will require a little bit more knowledge. And if you want to learn this part of our learning platform, we will have an entire course, actually 2, dedicated to musical video games. We are preparing them now. We'll take you from 0 to guru in just 10 lessons and then 20 lessons. So I hope you'll enjoy those as well. And once again, the Steam Corner platform and website will be available in about a couple of weeks. So you'll all hear from us again. We're working really hard on it. So I'm going to create the new variable. So this time it's going to be the note D. Okay. And one thing that I didn't change is player needs to be something else. I'm going to put enemy, so that the computer can distinguish between my player, the taco, and the enemy. Obviously, just to make them different, I'm going to use a different color. So this is going to be, actually, it should be orange if we follow the chroma node system. And then I'm going to do one more note, and I'm going to stop there so I can show you the interaction. As you can see, I'm just right-clicking on the screen to add the new part. So you see, it's just a puzzle really, it's nothing too complicated. And the idea is once you've set up the first note, doing 20, 30 or 50 of them doesn't really make a difference, it's very straightforward. So here you go, need to change the coordinates, of course. I'm gonna do it on the 3rd row and the 5th row. And they should appear in a horizontal line, in a vertical line down here, okay? Perhaps you could add a few more on this side and in the middle, you know, each one their own. That's why gaming design is nice. You're in charge of things, you can create everything. Right, now, if I go on top of this stuff, nothing happens because I haven't created an interaction yet. So let's do that. Interactions are usually triggered by what we call overlaps. So on sprites, there is what I like to call the whale mouth shape block. This one here reminds me a lot of a whale mouth for some reason. So we say that when the sprite overlaps with another sprite of kind of player, something should happen. Well, in this case, we should have a note be played. In this case, my taco is a player, and the notes, all of them, are enemies. So how do I help the computer distinguish which one? Because for us it's obvious, right, that this is red, orange and yellow, but the computer does not yet have the skill to recognize by color. So we need to give them an extra tool. So there's a few different ways. I would like to do a quick experiment to see if it works. If not, I'll show you a different, because I literally just thought about this, so I hope it works. And let's see. So an if statement is a way for the computer to check if something is true, something is within a range, something is equal to something else. For example, let's say that you wake up in the morning, you look out of the window, you say, if it's rainy, well, they take a raincoat. If it's sunny, take a hat. If it's windy, take a winter coat or something like that. So you see all of these if. Now, in all coding languages, these exist in the same way. There's if, else if. In some others, like Python, they're called elif. And then there's an else at the end to close everything. We need 3 ifs. So you see if, else if, why? Because I've got 3 different things. So basically, when the player is overlapping with the enemy, I would like to ask if the sprite image is equal to something, then okay, play that note. If it's equal to something else, plays another note or another note or another note. So to do this, I need to compare 2 things. I need to compare an image to another image. So I'm just gonna go to logic and comparison. 0 equal 0. And in here, I'll be able to put some images. There is a very useful block now that highlights the image. If my sprite image, this one here on sprites at the bottom, and very important, I cannot know which image I'm going to be touching, right? I cannot tell it in the future. So I'm gonna have to say, when my sprite overlaps with the other sprite, which is the nodes, this one needs to be dragged on top of here. And then this image needs to be dragged on top of here. This is it. So if other sprite image equals red, then play a note. Then I can very quickly cheat, make a copy of this block. Here we go. I'm gonna repeat the explanation of this just in case it's a bit of a challenge. There we go. And as always, I truly hope it works because sometimes we create code and then they don't entirely work. Here we go. So this piece, this block is saying, if my sprite, so the taco, is going on top of another sprite of type enemy, of which we have 3, then the computer is going to check. If this enemy is the red enemy, then something happens. If it's the orange enemy, something else happens. And if the yellow square is the enemy, then something else happens. So I'm gonna put music. Let's start very simple. I'm just gonna put 3 notes, and a 1, and a 2, and a 3. I'm gonna call it C, E flat, and G. Now hopefully, when my taco goes on top of that, something should happen. I sure hope so. It doesn't. Okay, something is going wrong. Let me check. Let me see if it's something is not going wrong. Good. Multi-spray kind of enemy. Never mind. Okay, we'll do a quick check. No worries. It was an idea. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't go well. In this case, I'm just gonna call these with the same name, just gonna create different kinds, C, D, and E. And I'll explain why I tried that attempt first. Because when you do that, it speeds things up. You'll see that I'll do the same exact process now, which will work, but it's gonna be much slower. So when the player overlaps with D, C, of kind C, then play the music. Gonna make a copy. And when he plays note D, then let's stick to D, so it's a bit more reliable. And then when we go to E, then we play E. In this case, apologies for the noise, guys, we're next to a big road. That's it, now it works, no problem, job done. So let's take a look. Can you hear it? So basically this is what's happening. With the keys or with the joystick, I'm using the mouse now, or even with your fingers if you're loading this on an iPad, you can go on top of these squares. That's it. It's quite cool, no? You can do these things. It creates an interesting musical composition. You can probably go on top of two. Not bad. So you can create chords even. For example, by creating lines one next to the other and then making your line cross through it. There's a lot of beautiful things that you can create. It's quite fun, and as always, please do not be afraid of making mistakes. Create things. I'm still quite convinced that I got just a little bit of a code wrong there, because that should kind of work. Sometimes it's a very tiny block and maybe it just takes you 10 minutes, it takes you 3 days, it takes you a week, doesn't matter. Keep at it, because when you make the mistakes and you fix them, that's where you're gonna learn. And to be honest with you guys, as soon as we stop this streaming, I'm gonna go back to that thing. I'm gonna make it work, because I really need to figure out what was wrong with that code. So that's quite it worked quite well. I hope it makes sense. Let me just talk you through the code once more. We set up a tile of 10 by 8 tiles. We created the background. 10 by 8 is because it's the size of the game itself. Then we went to create a character that I chose from the gallery just by hitting here, but it could be easily anything that you want. You can draw it, you can save it, you can import it, you can copy it from something else. And it's very easy to change. So if I want the donut, for example, to be able to play it now, I click it and here you go. Donut is here. Well, in a second, there you go. Everything will work the same way, okay? Then we moved it around with the controller and set up 3 enemies. This was very simple. Those 3 enemies, they can be anything else. So if you go to the gallery and let's say that these are 3 different types of fish. So this is fish 1 and this is fish 2. And then something else. Let's grab one at random. The warrior here, no problem. Okay. If I go around, the same exact mechanics will work. And that's a beautiful thing. So my advice, guys, if you are creating your game, is don't worry too much about the graphics to start with. Make the engine work first, and then you can change all of the graphics and make them pretty. Okay? What I would like to share with you, which is quite cool, is the offline version of this. It's very easy in case you don't have enough internet, or perhaps you want to work on it on a laptop which is not connected to the internet or something like that. There is an offline version, and here you go. Best way to do it is called Make Code Offline. As always, Google is your friend. Here it comes. Is makecode.microbit.org. Is the same. This is the microbit one. Okay. So if you want to do that, it's fine. Otherwise, you can do makecode arcade offline. If you spell it right, kind of works a bit better. There you go. So this is the makecode arcade. If you click on it, you will have access to both the Mac. So this is the download offline. Okay. You agree to the terms as always, and you've got your Windows and your Mac OS versions. So both are absolutely workable offline. Sorry, yes, offline. Now, very important, guys. When you use the offline version, for those of you who are a bit more advanced and need the extensions, we didn't speak about extensions today, that's because it was just an introduction. Don't forget that you need to download them whilst you are online, and then you'll be able to use them offline afterwards. So my suggestion is, if you need to do it offline and use the extensions, create an empty template project. How do you do that? Well, whilst you are online, you download and install the software, both Mac or Windows, either, no problem. And then once you're finished, download your extensions. Once you've got all of the extensions that you need, maybe do a few extra, it's not gonna hurt. Do not touch that project. Make a copy of that project, because if you make a copy, a clone of that project, you will be able to have a fully functional project with all of the offline features and the extensions available. Okay, so keep one there so you can keep working on the other side. All right, so this is all from me today. We're gonna meet again next Wednesday at 6 p.m. We're streaming every week as always. This time we're back in London. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. Have a wonderful time, and to all of you, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you before the new year. So I'm gonna say Happy New Year then, but have a wonderful time, stay safe obviously, and for any questions, please drop us a message whenever you like. We're always available. We are on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, but also don't forget that we are on the glorious Twitters, LinkedIn, for those of you who are a bit older, and also drop us a line via email. If you want to share your project or you're stuck on something, do send it through to us and we'll try and take a look and reply to you as quickly as we can. For now, this is it. As always, Steam Machines, stay curious. This is Enrico checking out from Conductive Music. Thank you for joining yet another episode of Steam Corner. See you next week, 6 p.m. London time, on YouTube and Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.